Have you ever wondered why some people live in constant fear of witchcraft while others walk through life untouched by it? The truth is, witchcraft, black magic, and the evil eye are real, but Allah has given us powerful protection that no force of darkness can break. Islam teaches us clear, practical steps that can make you spiritually untouchable, no matter how strong the magic may seem. In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful truths from the Qur'an and Sunnah that will make witchcraft powerless against you. These are not mere ideas, but divine shields that have protected believers for centuries. If you understand them, believe in them, and apply them, Insha'Allah, you will never live in fear again. Stay with me until the end, because the last point is something most people overlook, but it could be your strongest weapon against any harm. 1. Firm belief in Allah's Qadr, decree. One of the most powerful shields a Muslim has against witchcraft is an unshakable belief in Allah's Qadr, the divine decree. This means understanding that every event in your life, whether good or bad, happens only by the will and permission of Allah. No magician, sorcerer, or shaitan can harm you unless Allah allows it, and if He allows it, there is wisdom and a greater plan behind it. When this belief settles in the heart, fear of people and their evil vanishes. You stop attributing harm to the actions of others and start trusting the one who controls everything. This mindset not only protects your faith, but also breaks the psychological grip of fear that witchcraft relies on. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught us that if the whole world gathered to harm you, they could not do so unless Allah had written it for you. This knowledge should bring a sense of peace and empowerment. Witchcraft works on the weak-hearted, those who panic, doubt Allah's control, and give power to false forces. But for the believer who stands firm in Tawheed, witchcraft loses its influence entirely. True belief in Qadr means surrendering to Allah's plan, having patience in trials, and gratitude in blessings. It is knowing that harm is not in the hands of humans or jinn, but in the decree of the Most Merciful. Once this certainty fills your heart, you will live in calmness, knowing that nothing can touch you except what your Lord has already written. 2. Regular recitation of Qur'anic protection verses. The Qur'an is not just a book of guidance, it is also a shield against unseen harm. Allah has placed in its verses a divine power that burns away the influence of witchcraft and the plots of shayateen. Certain passages, when recited with sincerity and presence of heart, act as a fortress surrounding the believer. Among the most powerful is Ayat al-Kursi, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:255. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught that whoever recites it at night will be protected until morning, and whoever recites it in the morning will be protected until evening. This verse affirms Allah's supreme authority, reminding us that no harm can bypass His control. The last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, 285-286, are another shield. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "They are sufficient for the one who recites them before sleeping, protecting both the soul and body from harm." Equally essential are Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and An-Nas, known as Al-Mu'awwidhatayn, along with Al-Ikhlas. These 3 short chapters encapsulate protection against envy, magic, whispers of shaitan, and all kinds of spiritual harm. Reciting them 3 times in the morning and evening and before sleep is a sunnah practiced daily by the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is important to remember that these verses must be recited with belief, humility, and trust in Allah, not merely as empty words. The one who recites with understanding, draws a real spiritual shield around themselves, guarded by angels appointed by Allah. Witchcraft is powerless against the light of the Qur'an. Just as darkness cannot survive the presence of light, no black magic can survive when a believer keeps their heart and tongue connected to these protective verses every single day. 3. Daily morning and evening Adhkar. Du'as. The morning and evening Adhkar are a powerful daily habit prescribed by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for safeguarding the believer from harm, including witchcraft, evil eye, and the whispers of shayateen. These are specific supplications from the Sunnah to be recited after Fajr and Asr or Maghrib prayers as a spiritual reset that keeps you under Allah's protection throughout the day and night. Among them is the dua, Bismillahi alladhi la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wala fis sama'i wa huwa as-sami'ul alim. In the name of Allah, with whose name nothing in the heavens or the earth can cause harm, and He is the all-hearing, all-knowing. Reciting this 3 times in the morning and evening ensures, by Allah's promise, that no harm will reach you. Another important one is, A'udhu bi kalimatillahi tammati min sharri ma khalaq. I seek refuge in the perfect words of Allah from the evil of what He has created. This covers both seen and unseen threats, acting as an invisible shield. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was consistent in these adhkar, teaching that they are like locking the doors of your home against thieves, but in this case, you are locking your spiritual doors against evil forces. Skipping them leaves the believer spiritually exposed, while consistency strengthens the barrier every single day. 4. Avoiding sin and strengthening taqwa. Witchcraft often seeks entry through spiritual weaknesses, and sin is one of the biggest cracks in a believer's protection. Every act of disobedience, whether small or large, dulls the heart, distances a person from Allah, and weakens their spiritual defenses. Just as a fortress with broken walls is easier to breach, a soul burdened with sin becomes more vulnerable to evil influences. Strengthening taqwa, consciousness of Allah, is the best way to repair those cracks. Taqwa means being aware that Allah sees you at all times, guiding your choices towards obedience and away from wrongdoing. When taqwa grows, your spiritual immunity rises, making it harder for any harm, including witchcraft, to affect you. Avoiding sins such as lying, backbiting, consuming haram, neglecting prayer, or engaging in occult practices not only pleases Allah, but also shuts the doors that shayateen try to enter through. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, described the heart as a vessel. Good deeds polish it, while sins darken it. A polished heart reflects divine protection, while a darkened one becomes a target. Increasing acts of worship, such as extra prayers, fasting, charity, and dhikr, fuels this taqwa. These deeds bring a person closer to Allah, and the closer you are to Him, the further you are from harm. The Qur'an promises that Allah is with those who have taqwa. Surah An-Nas 16:128. When Allah is with you, no magician or evil force can overpower you. In short, every step away from sin is a step towards safety, and every step toward Allah is a step away from fear. A believer who actively purifies their life and guards their actions builds an unbreakable wall against witchcraft and all other forms of spiritual harm. 5. Seeking Allah's refuge and practicing Ruqyah. When faced with suspected witchcraft or any form of spiritual harm, the believer's first step should be to turn directly to Allah for refuge. Seeking refuge, isti'adah, is an act of worship, declaring openly that you have no protector but Him. This surrender invites Allah's help and commands the angels to guard you. One of the most effective means of seeking refuge is through Ruqyah, a healing method taught by the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ruqyah involves reciting Qur'anic verses and authentic supplications over oneself, another person, or even water or oil for treatment. Key passages include Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayat al-Kursi, and the last 3 surahs of the Qur'an. The process is simple. Recite with full concentration, blow lightly into your hands or onto the affected area, and repeat with trust in Allah's healing power. Ruqyah is not limited to those who are afflicted. It can also be used as a preventative measure, creating a shield before harm even approaches. It's important to note that Ruqyah must remain free from shirk or un-Islamic practices. Seeking help from fortune tellers, charms, or unknown rituals not only voids protection but invites greater harm. The Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, emphasized that true healing is from Allah alone, and Ruqyah is effective only when accompanied by sincere faith. By making Ruqyah part of your life, whether daily for protection or as needed for healing, you actively fortify yourself against the tricks of magicians and jinn. When a believer seeks Allah's refuge sincerely and follows the Sunnah method, no spell or curse can overpower the will of the Almighty. Alhamdulillah, you now know 5 powerful protections from Islam that make witchcraft powerless against a believer. Remember, true safety comes only from Allah, and He is the best protector. Practice these steps daily, and you will live with peace and confidence. If you found this video beneficial, please like, share, and subscribe to Merciful Deen so we can spread this knowledge further. Let's end with a positive dua. May Allah protect us from every harm and fill our hearts with His light. Type Ameen in the comments so we can all share in the reward.